Hey, what's up guys? Code up your life here. I got a real zinger for you today. In today's video I'm going to show you how to create a drag and drop script, how to open Excel and run a macro from VBScript, and how to save that as a new file that has been modified. Enough of the rambling, let us code. I got this drag and drop code from Rob Dunn on Community Spiceworks. We're going to use this as a base and modify it for our needs. What this script does is take a file, folder, or group of files as an argument and prints the path to each. We're going to change the process file function to open, modify, and save our Excel file. Copy and paste this into the notepad or an editor of your choice. The first line, set object argument equal to VBScript.arguments. This creates an argument object and is used to access arguments passed into our script. In this case, our arguments will be a file, files, or a folder. In line 2, set object FSO, create object, scripting, dot, file system object. The create object returns the file system object or FSO. We have many options for methods for the file system object, as you can see in Microsoft Docs. Next, we iterate through the objects passed. We do a for loop from 0 to the number of objects passed, for I equals 0 to object argument dot count. End of the for loop with next. We get the number of arguments by using the count method on the arguments object. For the error checking, we will use onError resume next. This basically tells the program when you encounter an error, just continue to the next line. Now we will try to treat the file system object as a folder with set folder equals object FSO dot get folder object arguments. And then we'll put in I from 0 to the number of objects passed in. This will return a folder object corresponding to the folder in a specified path. As a note, an error will occur if the folder does not exist. So if you try to pass in a file, there will be an error. Next, we want to make an if statement. If error number is equal to 0, then, and we'll end if. Here we are using the dot number property on the error object. If the error number is 0, it's not a folder, so we can process it like a file using process file object arguments I, which calls out the process file function. Next, we'll take a look at the process file function. This is going to be where you do whatever you want to the file or files or folder that's passed in. You can change this function how you want to operate on the files that you pass in. So first we'll pass in the file path. Right now this is giving us a message box that prints the file path. Later in the video, we are going to change this to run our Excel macro when an Excel file is passed. Next, let's do an else statement. Else, if there is no error, we can process each file in the folder. Here we have another for loop. For each file in folder.files, and don't forget to end the for loop with the next. So we're using the .files property of the folder object. This returns a files collection consisting of all file objects contained in the specified folder. We can call our function with process file.path. Using the path property on the file object returns the path for the specified file, folder, or drive. We'll end the error checking with onError go to 0. Next, let's run the file and see what happens. Okay, we get a message box printing the file path as we expected. We can try this on a folder. You can see it processes each file in the folder. Next, let's try it on a group of files. And you can see again it runs the process file function on each one of the files. Let's change the process file to open Excel and run a macro. The first thing we'll do is create an Excel object, set object Excel equal to create object excel.application. Next, we'll open the file by using the open method on our file path that we passed in. Set object workbook equal to object excel.workbooks.open, and then we pass in the file path. Next, we can make Excel operate in the background with object excel.application.visible equals false. If you set this to true, you will see it open up Excel, but we want this all to happen in the background, so we'll keep it as false. Let's create a macro to write hello world to the first 10 cells. So we'll open up Excel, go into Visual Basic and type for I equals 1 to 10, range A and I dot select, active cell dot formula R1 C1 equals hello world. And we'll end with next. File, save as, and save it as a macro enabled workbook. Now we'll create two new variables to modify the path. Dim file name to hold the front half of the file name, dim extension to hold the extension, and then down here let's set file name equal to split on the file path. We're going to delineate on a period and get the first half. So this will split the front half of the file name. Next we'll do extension equals split file path on the period, and we'll take the next item in the array. This is going to take the file extension after the period. Next we'll do object excel.application.run macro 1. This line will run the macro we just created. Next we'll do object excel.application.displayalerts equals false. This sets the alerts false so that Excel doesn't prompt you. Object workbook.saveas file name and modified dot and extension. This will save a new file with our modified file name. Object workbook.close. This closes the workbook. Object Excel application.displayalerts true. This will set the alerts back to true. And then object Excel.quit. This will quit Excel. Now for the fun part. Let's test it out. Go here to the desktop and drag and drop the file. Now we see that a new file has been created. Let's open it. Now we can see our macro executed properly. It printed hello world to each one of the cells here from 1 to 10. Well, there you have it. We were able to drag and drop, run a macro, and save a modified file, all with a simple VBScript. If you got some value from this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. See you guys in the next video.